Now, the Nets have another passing year without bringing the championship home to the city. And we've seen with the Nets this year, just because you buy up the league's top stars doesn't equate to buying up the city's energy. There are no shortcuts in duplicating that energy at the Garden, especially during that Hawks-Knicks series. You see, that type of energy and brand identity can't be bought or acquired. That's what Kevin Durant did not understand when he was going off that rant saying that the Knicks weren't cool anymore. Let me tell you this, boy. Kevin Durant does not understand that New Yorkers identify with the Knicks almost as an identity. It's the same way people in Pennsylvania identify with the Steelers as grinders, hardworking, blue-collared, or the same way people in Oakland used to identify with the Raiders as rebels, outlaws. We do whatever we want, we tough, we one of one. That energy was so infectious to have people rocking Raider hats just because they identified with the energy of just being a rebel. That can't be duplicated, it's one of one. And when it comes to the Knicks, it's the same thing. The Nets don't have that aura, it can't be bought. Their fan base is mostly comprised of people that are bandwagon fans. They were Cavs fans, they were Laker fans, they were Warrior fans. And you mix into that group, there were also the fan base in New York City that was sick of the Knicks. That's their fan base in total. Their energy is all over the place. And them being deep in the playoffs and possibly going for a championship didn't really mean as much because that energy is not centralized. It's here 1 minute and it's gone the next. Sort of like Kyrie's emotions. But anyway, it's sort of a match made in heaven in a way. But the Nets have got to be careful because they definitely do have an image issue. Because Kevin Durant is not well liked, especially in the media. He does all these back and forths. It's not really a good look. Kyrie is all over the place sometimes, even though his game is beautiful to watch. But one of the reasons I believe they got James Harden was to sort of soften the blow of their image, to mix him with Steve Nash as the coach, to make him more likable, because they're not sure of how things are going to turn out perception-wise with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And this season, we all seen the Nets could buy all the stars they want. The Knicks still doubled them up in ratings. And this is according to the Sports Business Journal. And by the way, the Nets had similar ratings to the Clippers. And it was not only just against the Nets, the Knicks were outshining them in ratings. In the national ratings overall, especially in the last 2 months of the season, ESPN was handpicking the Knicks games every Sunday as they were able to use a flex scheduling. They picked the Knicks Clippers, the Knicks Pelicans, and the Knicks Raptors. And the week that they chose the Knicks Clippers, that was their highest rated game, especially in that same week when they had Pelicans Warriors, Nuggets Lakers, and the Nuggets Jazz. So you looking at the Knicks outranked Zion versus Stephen Curry, Jokic versus LeBron, and Jokic versus Donovan Mitchell. All these other stars are definitely much more promoted throughout the league, but yet the Knicks are still outshining them in ratings, and they don't have like a big name superstar that gets promoted on a certain level on the national stage. And best believe this pisses off a lot of people in the media world because they have a huge disdain for James Dolan and any success coming his way. Once again, I'm always letting you guys know the media has an ongoing beef with James Dolan due to the fact that he tried to muzzle the mouths of a lot of people in the media, especially in the daily news. And they have an issue with him flexing his power because at the time he owned not only the building, which is MSG, he owned the network and the cable service. So he was trying to muzzle the mouths of a lot of people, and they had a huge issue with that. And it's had a trickle down effect because the rest of the media, sort of operating like a gang, they do not like the fact that he flexed his power over them. Sort of like, how dare you show that you're more powerful than the media? Who do you think you are? We're gonna make an example of you. And so the rest of the media on the national stage is going after James Dolan and trying to badmouth his team or any success coming their way. So when they see that the Knicks are still shining, even though the Nets have all these stars, it pisses them off. You could even look at when the 2020-21 season had first started, the media was attempting to drive the narrative that the Brooklyn Nets were the most relevant team in the city due to the fact they added James Harden with Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Because in their eyes, the Nets having these top stars would generate the most ratings because they equate to having superstars to ratings, not realizing that the city is tied to the identity of the Knicks. And so as the season ended and the Knicks had some success, they were not even arguing that the Nets were more relevant anymore due to the fact that it was so obvious on the screen when you would watch these Knicks games of how energetic the Knicks fans were, and the Knicks fans were even going viral on social media celebrating some of the Knicks successes. The energy was not being duplicated with the Nets, so they could no longer make their little arguments that the Knicks were not relevant, that the Nets had surpassed them. And they exactly understood what was happening because you saw it through their actions. They were hand-picking Knicks games every Sunday because they saw what it was doing for their ratings. They went from showing one national Knicks game before the All-Star break to showing more than 6 national games after the All-Star break. So once again, my fellow Knicks fans, understand your energy, understand your value. We are one of one.